Welcome to your weekly Earth Tribe report. This is the Peace Dealer, and this video is for Cancer. No, wait, that's wrong. This video is for Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. See how I went like backwards? I usually go the other. Okay. Please keep in mind that if this is your rising sign or moon sign, this will also apply to you and be accurate as well. And before you skip to your sign, the card that I have for you all is the Fool. Some of you, this is going to piss you off so much. There's a saying that some Christians say, and that's when you are so focused on your journey and path, that's when God decides to yank you away and use you for his benefit. Some of you are going to be content where you are. You're going to feel like you finally established yourself and you're ready to build on that. And all of a sudden, adventure time, your universe just throws you and hurls you onto a new journey. And you know, for some of you Earth people, you don't like change that's that sudden. But some of you may enjoy this. Some of you may have been looking for a new chapter. There's a new journey and adventure budding for a lot of you, and this is what you want to have an attitude about. That's what you want your attitude to look at it like. Something new. Think adventure, think big. Most importantly, have an open mind, because you're going to be introduced to people and things that are outside of your taste, outside your comfort zone, and just plain weird and eccentric. So let's get into it. I have my little sister featured on this video, and she will read your cards. I hope you enjoy.
Hey Taurus, what's up? This is your weekly tarot scope, and I'll get right into it. The first thing I see is Pentacles and Cups. 4 of Cups, 9 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles. So I see this as having to identify the masculine and feminine energies in your life. I feel like the people in your life are polarizing, so figure out who's who. It'll take a little bit of wisdom, but you have that. Definitely, Taurus, you are, I would say, you're more on the side of having a wealth of wisdom as opposed to having a lack of wisdom. So use it to your advantage. See how you can tap into both masculine and feminine energies this week. I think it might be better if I were to give you certain energy chakras to focus on. So a bit of sacral chakra and also third eye. So that's orange and purple. Try to meditate on those colors and think of how you relate to others and how you relate to yourself in that how you relate to yourself, but also how you perceive yourself. A lot of times when we think about ourselves in terms of how we see our future moving ahead, and that has a lot to do with third eye. You know, if you have a negative self-perception, then you will start to see your future as very dismal, and your third eye will be just bleak, you know, maybe even shut, you know. So if you have a better perception of self, then your third eye will start to see good things for you. So think purple and orange. Look out for really polarizing figures, you know, very masculine people or very feminine people. They should be able to help you. In terms of love, the devil. Okay, don't do anything that you know you shouldn't. If you're thinking about cheating, don't do it, of course. That's a terrible thing if you're in a relationship. If you're not in a relationship, be wise about who you choose to make a sexual partner, or just who you choose to share your deepest thoughts with, because I think you could be a bit of the devil, but also other people could be very devilish during this week, and just, you know, not really have your well-being at heart. and you may not. I think if you are interacting with someone who you don't care for, and you don't have their well-being at heart, just save yourself the trouble and don't even interact with them. You really don't know who you're dealing with. You know what I mean? Like, you can think, oh, I'm just gonna play this person out, and then they really come for your whole life. You know what I mean? Like, they really take it to the next level. You may unleash a drama queen, and you don't like drama, so it's kind of like, just don't play with people. Don't try anything this week. Just lay low. Love yourself a little bit more. And also, if you think somebody's coming at you sideways, then step aside and let them do what they're doing, but don't get caught up in it. In terms of career, I see you reaching a really great achievement, something you've been waiting for. I see you really culminating exactly. Let me go back. I see you getting to where you want to be, reaching your achievements, fulfilling your dreams. And it may not necessarily be, so maybe, I don't know, maybe let's say your long-term dream is to become a lawyer. I don't see you, passing the bar this week. Obviously, that may not be in the timeline. It could be months from now or years from now. What I do see happening to you is some rather concrete thing that shows you that you're on the right track, you're doing what you should do, you're on top of your game, and you are, I don't want to say you're a threat to other people. If it's a certain thing where it's like a promotion, whether it's you or someone else, this week you should have some culminating moment where it's like, clearly the position is yours, clearly. If that doesn't come, I feel like the reverse may happen, where you find an opportunity that allows you to step up to the plate, which isn't necessarily the reverse, but more so an opportunity than a signal or sign. So look out for that in your career. Just keep doing what you do, stay on your grind, and keep at your career with the passion that you usually take to work things and business related things. And I think it should all work out for you. The Hierophant. I feel like your lesson for the week is, it has to do with supernatural things. I think always be open to hear another perspective, whether you like it or not. And don't assume that you know everything. I think that for this week, you may want to double check your spiritual beliefs, especially if somebody has been grilling you about them recently or making you question. I think this is a week that you want to recheck it within yourself and to understand why you believe what you believe, and also stay humble. If somebody's telling you, you're going down the wrong path, really listen to them this week. This is not the week where you want to, just shrug it off and, be stubborn and, pursue whatever you want, because it could crumble basically, and then you'll end up looking like a fool because you were warned and you didn't heed the warning. So just be aware, be very open, be very humble this week, and willing to learn and willing to change. You probably will have to change something regarding your beliefs this week, but just be aware, maybe minor, maybe major. So I hope the positive energies of last week flow into this week for you, and that's all I have. Thanks. Hey Virgo, this is Chelsea with your Taurus scope. So the first thing I thought when I pulled your cards was that I feel like you're very emotional right now. And it could be from last week, it could be what you're going to come into this week, but very emotional. This doesn't necessarily mean you're crying all the time. Because I feel like once we say emotional, we automatically think of some sobbing teenage girl who just broke up with her boyfriend months ago but is still crying about it. But understand the full range of emotion. There's fear, There's sorrow and grief. There's guilt. There's anger. There's happiness, ecstasy. There's surprise. So I see you just very much so in a watery element, and prone to just, outbursts in a way. For the more solid Virgos, I think that maybe a lot of it's internal or just intense. So I feel like you can feel an emotion very deeply, but you don't have to be emotional. So it could just be a lot of intense emotions. If you meditate and are aligned with chakras, I think the chakras to focus on are the throat and third eye. And specifically, I feel like the throat will be affected in terms of how you express your emotions, especially to others. And so a little bit of the sacral chakra, orange. But then also your third eye will help you maintain your emotions. So it's going to be like a very rocky road, or shall I say rapids, like the rivers. Yeah, it's going to be like that this week. But I think you're equipped to deal with it. So it's nothing that will take you by surprise. It's not a storm, it's not a hurricane. It's just a little flood. I don't know the good analogy, but don't worry about it. You have what you need. I think you're well equipped as a person to deal with whatever it is that may come this week. Eight of Cups. I think you want your love life to be more fruitful, and that might be where this emotional, all these emotions are coming from. But I think if you want your love life to be more fruitful, whether you're in a relationship or you're not in a relationship, you need to plant the seed. Don't wait for anyone else to plant it. Don't wait for things to just happen. You need to plant the seed, sow the seed, do what you need to do. If you are having, body image issues, then get that solved. Maybe you want to gain weight. Maybe you want to tone up. Maybe you want to lose weight. Get that under control, set a plan, get a plan together. That will help channel your emotions into something productive and will get you closer to your goal. If you want to see new people, figure out how to work with, meetup.com, match.com, Harmony, whatever, go to the bar, just do something. The more proactive you are, the better it'll make you feel. And the closer you will be to meeting someone, or there's so much emphasis on trying to meet someone, but it's just as important to groom yourself and make yourself somebody that you want to be with. That way you're never alone, because you'll want to be with yourself. But the need and the want to be with someone is real. Loneliness is actually as real as physical pain. So just sow the seed, and that will help ease whatever pain you have. In terms of career, I feel like you're very angry. You feel like people are coming at you all kinds of sideways, and I'm sorry that that's happening. I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm just saying I'm sorry that it's happening. I say it kind of feels like you're in fighting mode, and I say continue to fight. But obviously, I feel like just you as a person, you're not necessarily catty, even though you may come off as such, because people come at you sideways so hard all the time. I still think that you should continue to combat negative energy, but just do so in a very polished way, which you're very good at. Just kind of don't pay haters any mind, do your thing, and I think you'll come out shining on the other side. I'm sorry that this is going to be a bit of a troublesome, turbulent week for you, but you have it under control. And so for the, lesson, I see the Queen of Swords. So I think you need to tap into that energy that is very authoritative within you and listen to it. I'm not saying that you need to be bossy with everyone else around you, especially because I kind of just feel like earth signs in general is they get bad reps in terms of authoritativeness and coldness and harshness and things like that. So I feel like you don't have to project authoritativeness onto others. You need to tune into it internally in yourself, and you'll end up exuding it without doing anything to make someone say, oh, she's being bossy, or he's being bossy or unreasonable. So I think that you need to listen more to your gut feelings and that voice that says, do this, don't do that. That person was, you know, I don't want to say judgmental. I don't want to say be judgmental, but we can't keep ignoring the things that we know about other people to be true. So if you know somebody is duping you, if you know somebody's being lazy on the job, you know, acknowledge it in your head. And maybe it's not your place to say, hey, you're being lazy, you need to pick up the slack. It's probably not your job or your place to say that, especially if you're not their boss. But if you recognize that internally, you'll be able to make better judgments about the world around you. For example, let's say you realize that your employees are slacking. I mean, your co-workers are slacking. Like, they take lunch breaks that are twice the time that they're supposed to take, and when they're on the job, half the time they're on Facebook, and you just notice that. Just take note. I'm not saying you have to go up to them and say, hey, you can't be doing this. No, just take note and understand that, wow, I'm the only employee here that's really working. Wow. You know what I mean? And then you can translate that to your third eye and realize, oh wow, I'm probably going to be the one who's getting the promotion without knowing, because I'm the only one who's working. My productivity has to be by default twice theirs because they're not working, you know. Or if you are the boss, you know, and you see your coworker slacking, then, you know, when that person comes at you like, oh hey, you know, I'm in a tight spot, can I get a raise? You could just say no. And you shouldn't feel bad, because you know, it's listening to your authoritative voice and understanding that you are allowed to make judgments about the world, and you are allowed to take power and take charge of your life without necessarily exerting that power over others in a very oppressive way. So yeah, that's the tarot scope for the week. I hope the positive energies of last week flow into this one. I know I said it's going to be a turbulent ride this week with your emotions, but that's okay. You'll be fine. And yeah, I hope you have a great week. Thanks. Hey Capricorn, this is Chelsea with your weekly tarot scope, and I'll jump right into it. Okay, so this week, the energy I have for this week for you, I hate to say it, and I feel like a lot of you guys will hate me for saying this, but I feel a lot of Kanye energy. And then the first card I pulled was this. So, Knight of Wands. And if the visual does not give you that Kanye energy, you know, beautiful, dark, twisted fantasy, I don't know what would. I really don't. But anyway, so I just see you as having to enlarge your ego this week. Especially if you want the things that you want to happen. Basically, you have to enlarge your ego this week. Get a deeper understanding of who you are and what you deserve in the world, and what you won't take, especially what you won't take from other people. If somebody's been mistreating you, you need to put an end to it right now. Like, this is the week. I feel like if you don't do it this week, it's one of those karmic lessons that will just, you know, like, come back stronger the next time, and it'll be harder to deal with because you just didn't get it this week. And the thing with karmic lessons, you may not get it all the way the first time. It's a karmic lesson. It will take your life, or at least 30 years, to get a good hang of it. So, don't beat yourself up. Of course, you're supposed to enlarge your ego this week, not minimize it. Read Nietzsche. But anyway, I just see you, I think you're thinking about wealth this week, and I think it's yours for the taking. Go ahead. If you want to make more money, make that money. Personally, I just don't think you should do it illegally, but if that's your only means, then go ahead. But yeah, I think you should go and get that money. The reason why I say don't do it legally is because I don't know if that's going to be dependable for you right now. But it's really however you're going to flip these bricks. You get it done. I don't know your life. You know what I mean? But like, flip those bricks and get that money. That's what I see for you this week. And for your love life, I see you wanting a specific person. If you are in your relationship, I see you wanting to take it to the next level, and I think you're gonna have to do it yourself. I think the same thing I told Virgo to plant their own seeds, but for you, I see that you're going to have to make the move yourself. So if there's somebody you like, try and enlarge your ego and go up to them. Even if it doesn't work out, it's you going up to them puts forth in the universe that you're willing to be vulnerable, you're willing to go out there and get what you want. And the universe is more likely to give it to you. If you know it's going to be very difficult for you, if you know it's going to be like a whole, anxiety, panic attack, then try to YouTube some, some helpful suggestions and hints. But I still think that you should try and do a nice gesture. If you are in a relationship and you wish that, your partner was more affectionate, try being affectionate to them. If you wish they gave you some gifts, try, bringing them flowers. If you want to get married, try bringing it up and proposing. Shit. You should be making those steps to get to where you want to go this week. And I feel like it'll be fruitful for you. I don't see it going wrong, especially if you're in a relationship and you just want your relationship to improve. I definitely suggest looking at this thing called love languages. If you're in any kind of relationship almost. I don't know how this would work for somebody who just has a crush on someone and wants to get closer. I don't know if that's applicable, but hey, maybe you just want to know this anyway. That's totally okay. There's a video on YouTube by, I can't even remember who it's by, but she's this woman who does a lot of body language decoding and studies. It's more so studies than just random, I think this means that. It's actually very scientifically based and research based. So she has this one video, Vanessa Van Edwards, I'm pretty sure that's her name. I hope. Yeah, it's about the 5 love languages. So if you look into that, especially if you're in a relationship, you can find a way to get much closer to your partner by just deciphering their love language, or maybe just asking them maybe show them the video I saw this really cool video, what do you think you are, which love language do you think you have? And once they tell you their love language, you can start to engage them more in that way, and that can strengthen the relationship just like that. I mean, not only are you engaging them in the way they want to be engaged, but also you're showing that you're willing to make an effort, which is an action on your part to make the relationship better. So I think that overall message, do the action, take the next step, do what you want to see happen. In terms of your career, I see a lot of good things. I see you kind of just being a sorcerer, magical wizard to get that money and flip those bricks. So it's funny how I said don't do anything illegal, but I mean that's how the magic happens. So I mean, Michael's looking at me sideways. I mean, I just feel like you for this week at least have the go ahead to get money and make a lot of money, in whatever way, you know what I mean? Play the lottery, I don't know, but I don't necessarily see it as money just being given to you. I really see it as you having to do something. But I see you, if you go for that business venture, and again, it's not necessarily even taking risks. I see you really knowing how it will work out and how you're going to do these things. I don't see anything with like, so I know I mentioned the lotto and I mentioned, what was it? Taking a business risk. I don't see it as a gamble. I see it as you knowing what you're doing and getting that money. So I don't know. Maybe like all the Capricorns I'm talking to are just gonna start drug dealing. I don't know. But make that money, flip those bricks. I feel like, you know, it's on your side this week. This week. And so the lesson, if you know a Gemini that you've wronged, no, if you just happen to know a Gemini, oh my God, not this one, he's totally okay. He ate all my cashews today, so I ate his Snickers. Anyway, if you know a Gemini that you've wronged, or you just know a Gemini, then I think you should talk to them. I think you should try to learn something from them. And it's weird to like, you know, say try to learn something from this person, but just, I don't know, observe them. You know, I think there's something about the duality of Gemini nature that you can learn from this week. And I think that you need to understand that you are also a dual person. If you've been dealing with cognitive dissonance, I think now is the time to address it and understand that not everything goes together perfectly. There are some things that don't go together at all within your own self, you know, and that cognitive dissonance can be very, very difficult to manage if you don't address it. It's kind of like containing an explosion. You need to let it out. You need to like just let it out and realize that there are two parts to you, and you know, you have a dual nature, and it's not you being fake, it's not you not being able to make a decision, it's not a weakness, it's just a fact of life. There's good and bad, there's hot and cold. Well, hot and cold is more so like, I feel like it's part of the same spectrum. But yeah, I mean, I think let's continue. I know I don't like that example, but basically, you have, you know, opposites in you, and you just need to address them. And I think the sooner you address them, the more peace you'll find. And you may be able to better understand this by looking into Gemini in your chart, looking at your third house, or whichever house has Gemini in it. And yeah, maybe finding a Gemini and taking a leaf. That's what I see for you this week, Capricorn. I hope the positive energies of last week flow on to this week for you. And I wish you the best. Thanks for watching.